A person must know that God exists. Torah commands us to know that God exists, but even more so than that, understand what does it mean, know that God exists. Any monkey can believe that God created the world. That's not knowledge of God existing. That's just simple common sense. Knowing that God exists means He exists in your world, where there is nothing beyond Him, there is nothing He doesn't know, there is nothing that He doesn't understand. En od milvado. There's nothing else but Him. That requires effort. A lot of effort. What kind of effort? Overcoming the most difficult obstacles you have in your life with complete emunah that Hashem is taking care of business. Meaning, you see that the way your life looks like at that moment, which I'm sure all of us have experienced at least once or twice in our life, it looks like your life is, you're in the middle of a highway, it's dark, and there's big headlights heading right at you. And there's nowhere right and there's no left. A truck's coming or two motorcycles, you're not really sure. But you have nowhere to go. Sometimes life looks like that. We have to get to a point where we have the level of emunah in Hashem that we believe that somehow, not only will we survive this interaction with the two lights, we'll thrive somehow. We'll thrive somehow. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll survive, but somehow we'll thrive. Doesn't mean that our outcome that's in our mind will be the outcome that will come out. But we'll thrive somehow. It'll be good at the end. And God knows what He's doing because He's the one that put us there. As a result of our actions. When a person understands that the most difficult times in his life are from God, and the salvation too is from God, he is already getting on the right step, on the right road, to understanding what knowledge of God really means. To believe that God created the world, yeah, that's within the first 20 minutes of any shiur that you hear from a real, authentic, legitimate rabbi. You should know that God exists and created the world. That's not knowledge of God, specifically in your life and the rest of the world, to the point where you have no questions. That's a different story. That is more difficult to attain and also more difficult to find in people. How do you know? See how people react under stress. You ever want to see somebody, the real version of them? Get to know them when they're dealing under pressure. They can't find something that they really need. They don't have something they really need, whether it be money, health, zivug, countless different issues. Do they overreact? Start losing their mind? All of a sudden question God, question the religion, say stupid things like, what's this religion for? What's Judaism for? Where's God during the Holocaust? Why is He doing this to me? Stuff like that. The more questions, the more statements, the more problems of an emunah. Because when you have knowledge of God, that also means you have zero questions. You may not know why Hashem is doing what He's doing. Surely you don't know. You're not a prophet. But you don't have any questions. When Rav Wasserman, alav shalom, was on the line with the rest of the Chachamim, being led by the Nazis, Yimach Shimam v'Zichram, knowing that whenever they're going to tell them to stop walking, they're all going to die. Meaning this is their last march. He had no questions of why God was doing it. He told it to the other people, as I've told you in the past, that apparently heaven has decreed that we are tzaddikim, and we need to be the korbanot, the sacrifices for the rest of Jewry. It's time for us to do tshuva, so we are good korbanot, good sacrifices, and not what's called the pigul. Pigul is a korban, a sacrifice that's problematic, where the guy that brought the sacrifice, he didn't really have proper thoughts, therefore in Shamayim, rejects it. Rejects this korban. So Rav Wasserman says, it's time for us, we are the korbanot, it's time for us to do tshuva. So we come as good korbanot. Good sacrifices. Meaning there was no question in his mind, oh, what's my wife going to think? Oh, why is God doing this to me? Oh, I learned so much Torah, why don't I have protection? None of those questions existed in his mind. Now, alvai aleinu to get to such a mindset. But the point being is that we have to strive for it.